Hey there everybody, welcome back to Bench Proof. Today we're going to be making a cornbread. We're actually making my grandmother's cornbread recipe. I don't normally show you the recipes that we make on these, but I just really kind of like this. This is my grandmother's original note card that she has her cornbread recipe on over here. See where we've already had to rewrite it once. This is the new card that we've rewritten the recipe onto to make sure that we don't lose this recipe. So I'm going to have these here on the side, just like I said, to show you. I know I don't normally do that, but I thought it was kind of cool to have the original recipe with me while I'm making this video. And here's why. Obviously, I'm in a different place. I'm at Mom and Dad's house for Christmas, which is how I can get my hands on original recipe note cards, which I don't have access to back at my house. But like I said, we're going to be making a cornbread. The first thing that you want to do with this is get out a 12-inch cast iron skillet, put a quarter cup of either Crisco vegetable shortening or baking drippings into the pan, slide that into an oven and turn your oven on to 450 degrees. That pan will warm up with the oven and that'll cause the fat to melt, and then that will be what lubricates the cornbread when it goes in. The cornbread needs to go into a hot pan. So the easiest way to do that, put in your fat, put it in the oven, turn your oven to 450, and then by the time you get done mixing up your ingredients, it should be about that temperature. Wait for it. If it takes a little bit longer, take it out, pour it in, and stick it back in the oven. We'll show you that process though in a little bit. Right now we're going to start with our dry ingredients though. I have 3/4 of a cup of regular all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of cornmeal. You want to make sure that when you're shopping for cornmeal, you get just plain cornmeal. It can be a little hard to find actually, because so many places are doing cornmeal mix and things like that for just ready-made mixes for cornbread or cornbread muffins or something like that. So when you get your bag of cornmeal, make sure that it is just cornmeal, because most mixes say cornbread mix or something, but some will say cornmeal and then underneath in parentheses mix. So make sure it says cornmeal and nothing else, because that mix already has flour and everything in it. Basically all that we're about to do here to make it better than the mix, it's already got in it. So you don't want to mess with that. So I've got my 1 cup of cornmeal, 3/4 of a cup of flour. To that I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of sugar. All right, I'm just going to use my whisk just to get the dry ingredients all incorporated with each other. I'm going to set that to the side, and then we're going to work on the wet ingredients. Super simple. All that is that's 1 egg. You want to beat that up just a little bit before you add any other ingredients to it. Alright, and to that you're going to add 1.5 cups of buttermilk. Got those mixed together. Pour your wet ingredients on top of your dry ingredients. I'm going to switch to a rubber spatula. It's a little bit easier at this point. You can also use a wooden spoon if you'd like. And you just want to mix these together until they're pretty homogeneous. There is some flour in here, so you need to beware of overmixing. You don't want to have a whole bunch of gluten formation, but the cornmeal doesn't have doesn't have gluten in it, so that helps cut down on the gluten formation. So you can kind of make sure that it's pretty well mixed at this point. You're not going to have to worry about overmixing all that much. Once it's, like I said though, once it's basically pretty homogeneous, you need to go get your pan out of the oven. At this point, your oven should be up to 450 degrees and the pan too. So keep in mind that pan has been in the oven the entire time it's been getting warm. Use an oven mitt. Don't hurt yourself. So grab your pan, bring it back, pour your ingredients in like I'm going to show you in the next step, and then we'll keep on going. So I'm going to get my pan and I will be right back. Alright, I got my pan out of the oven. One thing, just be safe. Use a hot pad. Remember that there is hot oil in this pan, and you're putting relatively moist ingredients into it. So you want to work fairly quickly, that way you can cover the oil so that there's not a lot of splattering around. But at the same time, don't go flinging stuff into the pan because you're pretty close to the oil. If it hits you, it's gonna hurt. Basically what you want to do to try and be as safe as possible, what I do is I have my bowl here and then push ingredients out that way. That way if it does splatter or splash, hopefully it's in that direction and not back towards me. All right, and I just kind of spread it out just a little bit. Alright, and then this, with the oven mitt, goes into the 450-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. It'll puff up some in that time. It's not gonna go, crazy, but it will puff up some and get a nice golden color on it. My parents' oven door is a little bit weird. It's basically a solid oven door. It doesn't have a glass see-through like mine does at home, so I can't do the time lapse while I'm here. But I'll definitely bring it back here, show you what it should look like when it comes out of the oven, and we'll finish it up. Alright everybody, it's been 25 minutes. I actually left mine in probably a little bit longer than I needed to. But this is the first time I've cooked in this oven for 2 years. So I'm a little out of touch with that. But either way, it's still perfectly fine. It's just a little bit more brown than yours might be at home. This is the finished cornbread right here. And it is absolutely delicious. Our family prefers a little bit skinnier, thinner cornbread, so we do ours in a larger pan. If you prefer bigger, fluffier cornbread, use the exact same amount of materials, the exact same ingredients, exact same recipe, just do it in a 10-inch skillet instead of a 12-inch skillet, and it'll be thicker, a little bit puffier cornbread, if that's what you prefer. Like I said, our family prefers a little bit thinner cornbread ourselves. But you test it the same way that you would test a cake. Just take a toothpick down in the middle, straight out. If it comes out clean, it's done. If it still has batter clinging to it, stick it back into the oven for a couple more minutes and then test it again. You want to make sure that that toothpick comes out clean. That means that it is completely cooked all the way through. And basically just it stays in the pan, or at least in my family it just stays in the pan, and we cut our slices and serve it straight out of the pan. We don't worry about moving it onto a cooling rack or anything like that. But you can, I guess, if you would like to. But like I said, our family just leaves it in the pan. So however you want to do that is completely up to you how you want to serve it. But that's easy southern cornbread. Like I said, my grandmother's recipe. I hope y'all enjoy it like our family has been enjoying it for years. If you like this video, please let me know down below in the comments if you got a recipe that you would like to see me make. Also, let me know down in the comments. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more how-to videos. I've also got some fishing videos and things like that up if you are interested in that kind of a thing. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good time baking.